Let's get into it. The front door was unlocked when I got home from work that Tuesday evening, which was my first clue that something was wrong. Maurice always locked it when he got home before me. Always. I pushed it open slowly, my heart already beating faster, and that was when I saw them. My husband, Maurice, stood in our living room with his arms crossed over his chest, his face harder than I had ever seen it. Next to him was his daughter, Jada, 19 years old, both of them black like me, and Jada was wearing an expression that sent ice through my veins. It was not sadness or anger. It was satisfaction. Cold, perfect satisfaction. On the floor beside them sat 3 suitcases. My suitcases. The ones I kept in the hall closet. Maurice. My voice came out smaller than I intended. What is going on? He did not answer right away. He just stared at me like I was a stranger, like I was something disgusting he had found on the bottom of his shoe. We had been married for 3 years, together for 5. I knew every expression on his face. But this was new. How could you? Jada spoke first, her voice trembling with what sounded like genuine emotion, her eyes red as if she had been crying. How could you do this to us? To my father? To me? I looked between them, completely lost. Do what? I do not understand what is happening. Do not play dumb, Alicia, Maurice said, his voice cold and flat. We know what you did. My hands started shaking. I set my purse on the entry table, trying to steady myself. Maurice, please just tell me what this is about. Jada pulled out her phone and held it up to me. On the screen was a bank statement, her college fund account. The balance showed almost nothing. When Maurice and I got married, that account had over $40,000 in it. Money his late wife had saved before she passed away when Jada was 12. Money that was supposed to pay for Jada's education. Where is my money? Jada demanded. Where is my mother's money? I stared at the screen, my mind racing. I do not know. I have never touched that account. I do not even have access to it. Liar, Maurice said, and the word hit me like a slap. You are the only other person whose name is on that account. I added you last year because you said we should be able to access everything in case of emergencies. Remember that? I remember, I said. We talked about being organized. But I never used it. I never took any money from it. The withdrawal started 6 months ago, Maurice said, his jaw tight. Small amounts at first, then bigger ones. The last one was 2 weeks ago. $5,000 gone. It was not me. My voice rose, turning desperate. Maurice, you have to believe me. I would never do that. Jada made a sound that was half laugh, half sob. And I suppose you did not take my mother's jewelry either. My stomach dropped. What jewelry? The jewelry box my father kept in his office, Jada said. The one with my mother's engagement ring, her grandmother's pearls, her gold bracelet. It is all gone. The box is empty. I looked at Maurice, pleading with my eyes for him to see reason. I did not touch anything in your office. Why would I? Maurice, this is insane. Is it? He took a step toward me, and I instinctively stepped back. You have been different lately. Distant. I thought you were stressed about work. Now it makes sense. You have been stealing from us. No, the word came out as barely a whisper. This felt like a nightmare. I have not. I do not know what is going on, but it was not me. Jada wiped at her eyes, but behind the tears I saw something that did not match. Something almost triumphant. I needed that money for next semester, she said. Registration is in 2 weeks. How am I supposed to finish school now? Enough, Maurice said, raising his hand. I do not want to hear any more lies, Alicia. I have already spoken to my lawyer. You need to leave tonight. The room tilted. Leave? This is my home. Our home. Not anymore, he said. I want you out. Now. You are throwing me out just like that, without even listening to me? I could hear the panic in my own voice. Maurice, we are married. You promised to trust me, to stand by me. And I thought you promised not to steal from my daughter, he said. He walked to the door and opened it wide. Get out, Alicia. Take your things and go. If you are not gone in 5 minutes, I am calling the police. I stood there frozen. This black man I had loved, the man I had built a life with, was throwing me out like trash. He would not even consider another explanation. Jada watched me with those cold, satisfied eyes, and in my gut I knew this was her doing. I could not prove it, but I knew. My legs felt weak, but I forced myself to move. I grabbed the suitcases. They were heavy, someone had packed them full. I did not look inside. I did not do this, I said one more time, looking directly at Maurice. Someday you will realize that. By then it will be too late. He said nothing. He just held the door. I walked out, dragging my suitcases behind me. The door shut before I reached my car. I heard the deadbolt slide into place. That simple metallic click felt like the end of everything. I loaded the suitcases into my trunk with shaking hands, then sat in the driver's seat and stared at the house where we had painted the bedroom together, planted roses out front, laughed in the kitchen. For a few minutes I could not breathe. Then something shifted. The shock faded, and in its place came anger and a hard, clear determination. Maurice had not even asked for my side. After 5 years together, he had thrown me out in minutes. Jada had smiled while he did it. I drove to a cheap hotel off the interstate. The room smelled like cleaning chemicals and old carpet. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at my suitcases, still unable to believe what had happened. My phone buzzed over and over. Maurice. I ignored every call. He had made his choice. Instead, I scrolled to the one person I knew would pick up, my best friend since college, Keisha. Alicia, what is wrong? She answered on the second ring, her voice instantly alert. And then I fell apart. The whole story came pouring out between sobs, the accusations, the empty college fund, the missing jewelry, Maurice throwing me out. That is insane, Keisha said when I finally stopped. He just put you out without even asking for your side? He said I was lying. He would not listen, I whispered. Keisha, I did not do it. I know you did not, she said fiercely. You are the type who returns extra change at the grocery store. There is no way you would steal from anyone, especially not his daughter. Where are you? I told her. Pack up your things and come to my place, she said. You are not staying in some dirty hotel. I have a guest room. You can stay as long as you need. I was too exhausted to argue. 20 minutes later, I was pulling up to Keisha's townhouse on the edge of town. She met me at the door in pajamas, took one look at my face, and pulled me into a hug. We are going to figure this out, she said into my hair. I promise. That night, lying in her guest room, I could not sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Morris's face, cold and closed, and Jada's thin, satisfied smile. By morning, I had cried myself dry. All that was left was anger, and under that, determination. I could not stay in Keisha's guest room forever. I needed a plan. Over coffee in her kitchen, I made a list. First, find a good lawyer, someone who could handle a divorce if it came to that, and help prove my innocence. Second, find an apartment. Third, gather every piece of financial documentation I could reach. Do you know any attorneys? I asked. My cousin used one last year, Keisha said. She handles divorce and financial messes. Tough as nails. 10 minutes later, I had the number for attorney Robin Ellis. According to Keisha's cousin, she did not tolerate nonsense from anyone. She is not cheap, Keisha warned. I will manage, I said, thinking of our joint savings account. That afternoon, I went to the bank where Maurice and I kept our accounts. The teller, a young black man named Terrell who had helped us before, smiled when he saw me, then frowned at my expression. Is everything all right, Ms. King? I need to make a withdrawal from the joint savings, I said. I took half. Exactly half. It was my money too, earned and saved. I had every right to it. Then I asked for copies of all the statements for Jada's college fund account. Terrell hesitated. I am not sure I can give you those. My name is on that account, I reminded him. I am legally authorized. He disappeared into the back, then returned with a stack of printouts. Here you go. Anything else? Yes. I lowered my voice. Is there security footage from when those withdrawals were made? His eyes widened. I would have to ask my manager. A few minutes later, Mrs. Johnson, the branch manager, came out. Terrell says you are asking about video footage, Ms. King. I need to see who has been withdrawing money from that account, I said. Someone did it without my knowledge. I cannot give footage directly to you, she said. But if you have an attorney, they can request it through proper channels. That night, back in Keisha's guest room, I spread the statements across the bed. The first withdrawal had been 6 months ago, $200. Then $300. Then more, each time larger. Most were weekday afternoons. I had been at work during every one of them. My badge records and time cards would prove it. My phone rang again. This time I answered. Maurice, what do you want? I asked. You withdrew money from our savings today, he said, already angry. Half of it. I took my half, I said. Unlike whoever emptied Jada's college fund, I only took what was legally mine. You cannot just take our money. It is not just your money. I paused. Tell me something. Did you actually look at the withdrawal slips? Did you check the signatures? Silence. You did not, I said quietly. You just took Jada's word. You never investigated a thing. She is my daughter, he snapped. Why would she lie? That is an excellent question, I said. You should think about it. I hung up before he could answer. The next afternoon, I sat in a glass-walled conference room on the 12th floor of an office building downtown, across from Robin Ellis. She was in her 50s, a black woman with short gray hair and sharp eyes that seemed to see everything. Tell me everything, she said, legal pad ready. So I did. From meeting Maurice to the night he threw me out. When I finished, she set her pen down. Do you want to save this marriage? The question surprised me. I do not know. Maybe if he believed me. That is not what I asked, she said. Do you want to save it? I thought about his face at the door, the way he had chosen Jada's accusations over my word without hesitation. No, I said finally. I do not think I do. Robin nodded. Good. Because from what you have described, this marriage is already over. Now the question is how to protect you and clear your name. We went through my documents, bank statements, credit card records, my work schedule showing I was in the office during most of the withdrawals. This is strong, she said. We will request the bank footage, check whether the jewelry was insured, and I am hiring a private investigator, Lionel Pierce, to look into Jada's finances. How much will all of this cost? I asked. She named a number that made my stomach twist. Do it, I said. Whatever it takes. I need people to know the truth. We will get there, Robin said. But prepare yourself. Even if we prove you innocent, Maurice may never apologize. Some people would rather cling to a comfortable lie than accept an uncomfortable truth. Over the next week, Robin moved quickly. She filed the request for the bank footage, contacted Morris's insurance company about the jewelry, and brought Lionel onto the case. She also began drafting divorce papers, just in case. During that week, Keisha helped me apartment hunt. We finally found a small one-bedroom in a decent neighborhood. It was simple but bright, with big windows that flooded the rooms with light. I signed the lease and moved in that weekend. As we carried the last box up the stairs, something shifted inside me. This was not a temporary crash pad. This was my place. I was not waiting to go back home. I was building a new life. On Monday, my phone rang at work. It was Robin. We have the footage, she said. I held my breath. It is not you in any of it. It is Jada. I sank into my chair. You are sure? Positive. The video is clear. Jada went into the bank 7 different times and withdrew money from that account. She had identification and the account information. She signed the withdrawal slips. We have her signature, and I am having a handwriting expert compare it to yours. They are clearly different. She stole from herself, I whispered. Then blamed me. That is exactly what she did, Robin said. Lionel has also been digging. Jada has a serious online gambling problem. Poker, sports betting, casino applications. So far we have tracked over $60,000 in losses. Every time she withdrew money from the fund, there was a deposit into one of her gambling accounts within 24 hours. What about the jewelry? I asked. Lionel found it, Robin said. She listed her mother's ring, the pearls, and the bracelet on several online marketplaces under a fake name. We have screenshots of the listings, the messages, and the sales records. The money went into an account in her name. She got about $12,000 altogether. I closed my eyes, relief and rage mixing in my chest. All of this because of gambling, I said. She destroyed my marriage and my reputation to cover her addiction. There is more, Robin added. We pulled her text messages. 2 days before she told Maurice, she texted a friend about the missing money. She wrote, I will just blame the wife. Dad will believe me over her anyway. The words hit like ice water. She had planned all of it. Now we decide how to use this, Robin said. We can go public, clear your name, and potentially press charges. Or we can use it as leverage in the divorce to make sure you get everything you are entitled to, and more. Can we do both? I asked. Possibly, she said. What do you want most? I thought of Morris's face when he stood at the open door, of Jada's smile as I dragged my suitcases out. I want the truth out, I said slowly. And I want a divorce. I want to be done with both of them. Then that is what we will do, Robin said. We will file for divorce with every piece of evidence attached. Maurice will be served at work. Jada will receive her own packet and a letter explaining exactly which laws she has broken. The plan was brutal and precise. Robin prepared a complete divorce filing. I would receive half of everything: the house value, cars, retirement accounts, and Maurice would pay my legal fees. There was a clear implication. If he fought, every detail of Jada's theft and gambling could go to the district attorney. Expect him to contact you, Robin warned. Do not answer. Let him sweat. That weekend I focused on my apartment instead. Keisha and I went to a big box store for basics, then to a discount furniture store. By Sunday evening I had a bed, a small couch, and a table by the window. It was not much, but it was mine. Nobody could throw me out of here. Monday morning, Robin called. He has been served, she said. In the parking lot at his job. My phone lit up soon after with call after call from Maurice. I ignored every one. Then came the texts, please. We need to talk. I cannot believe you are doing this. At least answer. I blocked his number. Robin kept me updated. Jada came to my office, she said 2 days later, sounding almost amused. She was crying, insisting this is all a misunderstanding. I told her to leave, or I would call security. She is panicking. She knows the evidence is solid. What is Maurice doing? I asked. His lawyer is trying to negotiate, Robin said. We are not budging. The terms in our filing stand. A week later, Robin called with news. He is going to sign, she said. He will agree to all our terms. He understands that if this goes to trial, the gambling and the theft become part of the public record. Jada could face criminal charges. He does not want that. What about you? She asked softly. Do you want to press charges? I thought about Jada's text. Dad will believe me over her anyway. And the hell of those first weeks. I do not, I said finally. I want my name cleared and my life back. Let her live with what she did. That is punishment enough. Then that is what we will do, Robin said. We will include a clause about no criminal charges moving forward. While the paperwork moved through the courts, I focused on rebuilding. At work, my boss called me in. You have been doing excellent work, she said. There is a promotion opening up. Team lead. I think you would be perfect for it. I accepted, grateful for something in my life that I could actually control. When the initial dust settled, I called my older sister, Tiffany, in Oakland. Our relationship had faded after I married Maurice. He always complained when I spent too much time with my family. She sounded shocked to hear from me, then furious when I told her what had happened. I never liked him, she admitted. I am glad you are getting out. You sound stronger than you used to. I feel stronger, I said. And it was true. A month after I left the house, Robin handed me the final divorce documents. The agreement gave me half the house value, half the retirement accounts, my car, my personal belongings, and my legal fees paid. In exchange, neither of us would publicly discuss the details or press charges related to Jada's actions. I signed every page. It is done, Robin said. We just need the judge's approval. You are essentially free. I decided I wanted to be physically present when the judge made it official. On the day of the hearing, I wore a simple blue dress that made me feel calm and strong. The woman who walked into that courthouse did not feel like the same woman who had stood shaking in our living room. Maurice was already there, looking tired and smaller somehow. I sat beside Robin and did not look in his direction. The judge, a black woman in her 60s, reviewed the papers. Both parties agree to all terms? She asked. Yes, Your Honor, Robin said. Maurice King? Yes, Your Honor, he said quietly. Then the divorce is granted, she said, signing with firm strokes. It will be final in 30 days. Maurice tried to step toward me as we stood. Alicia, please, can we just talk? Robin moved neatly between us. No, she said. You agreed to no contact. I met his eyes just once. We have nothing to say to each other, I told him. You made your choice the night you put me out. Goodbye, Maurice. I walked out into the sunlight with Robin at my side and felt something inside me unclench. That week I went to the Department of Motor Vehicles and changed my name back to Alicia Carter. Seeing my old name on the new license felt like reclaiming a piece of myself I had given away. I celebrated by getting my hair cut into a style I had wanted for years, but Maurice never liked. That evening, Keisha took one look at me and grinned. You look like yourself again, she said. Maybe even better. The settlement check from the house arrived a few weeks later. It was more money than I had ever seen in my account. I paid off my car, paid Robin's last bill, and met with a financial advisor. Then I did something that felt both terrifying and thrilling. I bought a small condominium of my own in the city. The condo was one bedroom with big windows and a little balcony overlooking the skyline. The kitchen was modern, The bathroom had a deep tub, and there was a little nook perfect for a desk. "This is perfect," Tiffany said on a video call when I showed her around. "I am proud of you." "I am proud of me too," I said, and meant it. I hired a painter to do the walls in colors I loved: soft gray in the living room, deep blue in the bedroom, warm yellow in the kitchen. I bought an emerald green velvet couch because it made me happy, a white iron bed, a heavy wooden table. I framed art prints and hung them myself. I filled the place with plants, big and small, until it felt alive. A month later, I hosted a small housewarming. Keisha came, along with her cousin Dante, my coworker Camille, and a few new friends from work. We ordered pizza, drank wine, and played cards until late. Camille stood on the balcony, looking out at the city lights. "You did well, Alicia," she said. "This place feels like you." "It is the first place I have ever had that is all mine," I replied. Life began to stretch outward again. I joined a gym and went 3 times a week, not to punish my body, but because it felt good to move. I signed up for a watercolor class at the community center. My first paintings were disasters, but by the 3rd week I had made something that almost looked like the bowl of fruit it was supposed to be. At work, the promotion became official. I now led a small team. My boss praised my calm under pressure and my results. "You have really come into your own this year," she said. "Keep this up, and we will be talking about a director role next year." For the first time in a long time, my future felt wide open. Maurice did not disappear completely. For a while, flowers started arriving at my door, expensive arrangements of roses and lilies. I gave them to neighbors. Letters followed, pages and pages of apologies and declarations of love. I read the first few lines of the first one, then dropped them all directly in the trash. One evening in late January, months after the divorce was final, my doorbell rang. When I looked through the peephole, my heart sank. Maurice. He looked older, with dark circles under his eyes. I opened the door just enough to keep the chain on. "What do you want?" I asked. "I know I am not supposed to contact you," he said, "but I needed to say this in person." "Say it," I replied. "I am sorry," he said, "for everything. I should have trusted you. I should have asked questions. I threw away the best thing in my life because I was too blind to see the truth. I know you have moved on, but I will regret it for the rest of my life." I studied him and felt nothing. No anger, no longing. Just distance. "All right," I said. "That is it. Just all right?" he asked. "What do you want, Maurice? That I forgive you? Fine. I forgive you. That I take you back? That will never happen. You got to say what you needed to say. Now I need you to leave." He looked like he might cry, but I closed the door and locked it. Then I picked up the book I had been reading and went back to my evening. His apology changed nothing. A few weeks later, a thin envelope arrived in my mailbox. The handwriting on the front was his. Inside was a short letter. He wrote that Jada was in therapy and working to pay off her debts, that he was selling the old house and moving into an apartment, that he hoped I was happy and had found what I was looking for. I read it once, folded it, and dropped it in my junk drawer. His new life had nothing to do with mine. In spring, I took a trip to visit Tiffany in the Bay Area. I flew by myself, spent the flight reading, then spent 5 days being a tourist: Golden Gate Bridge, Fisherman's Wharf, Alcatraz, a day trip to wine country. We ate too much good food and stayed up late talking. "Are you ever tempted to go back?" she asked one night on her back porch. "Not even a little," I said. He showed me exactly who he was when it mattered. The months rolled forward. I kept going to the gym, kept painting, started hiking with Camille on weekends. We pushed ourselves to longer and steeper trails, laughing as we huffed our way up. On one hot afternoon at the top of a local peak, Camille grinned at me. "Who knew you were such a hiker?" "I like this version of myself," I said. "She is braver than the old one." In summer, my promotion to director became official. More responsibility, more money, a bigger team. My boss called me one of the company's rising stars. I thought about the woman who had sat on a hotel bed crying months before and barely recognized her. Dante and I gradually became close friends. He would come over to help fix things in the condo, installing shelves, tightening a leaky faucet, hanging a new light fixture. "You could just hire someone," he said one Saturday. "I could," I said, handing him a screwdriver. "Or I could learn to do it myself." He laughed. "Fair point." In November, almost a full year after Maurice threw me out, I ran into Jada at the grocery store. I was reaching for avocados when I heard a hesitant, "Alicia?" I turned. She looked different, thinner, more tired, stripped of that smug bravado. "Hello, Jada," I said. She shifted her basket from one arm to the other. "I have been wanting to talk to you," she said. "To apologize. For lying. For blaming you. For everything." "Okay," I said. "That is it." Her voice broke. "Just okay? What do you want me to say?" I asked calmly. "That I forgive you? I do. That it did not hurt? It did. That I want to be friends? I do not." She flinched. "I know I ruined everything," she said. "I am trying to fix my life. I am in therapy. I am working. I just needed you to know I am sorry." "I believe you are," I said. "But it does not change what happened. You made your choices. I made mine. Now we both live with them." "Are you and my father?" she began. "We are divorced," I said. "And whatever he feels for me now is not my problem." I started to push my cart away, then paused. "Jada, I hope you beat your addiction," I said. "I hope you build a good life. Truly. But I am done being part of your story. Move on." "I already have." I walked away from her feeling steady, my hands calm on the cart handle. December came again, bringing lights in windows and holiday music in stores. I hosted a small gathering in my condo, 10 people, including Keisha, Dante, and Camille. We ate, laughed, played games, and filled the place with warmth and noise. After everyone left, Keisha helped me rinse dishes. "You have built a good life here," she said. "I have," I answered, looking around at my plants, my art, my emerald couch. "Better than before." On New Year's Eve, I stood on Dante's back deck with a glass of champagne, watching fireworks bloom over the city. People were laughing behind us in the house, music playing low. The air was cold and clear. "New Year," Dante said, stepping up beside me. "Any resolutions?" "Just one," I said. "Keep growing. Keep becoming who I am meant to be." As the last fireworks faded, I thought about the woman I had been when Maurice locked me out of our house and the woman I was now, stronger, freer, fully myself. He had thought he was destroying my life that night. Instead, without meaning to, he had set me free. I lifted my glass toward the sky, then turned back toward the light and laughter inside, ready for whatever came next. If you enjoyed this story, please like, comment, and share this video with your friends. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a powerful story drop.